My first time traveling to Italy was through the NYU Study Abroad program. And when I made
Download the app for free and embark on a journey where your adventures not only become unforgettable memories, but also opportunities to earn. With Passport Bros, your travel content is more than just photos and videos. It's your ticket to a fully monetizable network of like-minded adventurers. Imagine making money from your travel stories. Post videos, share your experiences, and let the world be a part of your journey. But that's not all. Connect with travelers from around the globe, join co-ed groups, and make lasting friendships, perhaps even with foreign women who share your passion for exploration. And here's the best part. Store your earnings securely in your Passport Bros wallet. No hassle, no worries. Just seamless transactions wherever your travels take you. Looking for the best local experiences? Passport Bros has got you covered. Get personalized recommendations for tour guides, rentals, and the hottest clubs in town. Did we mention the app is absolutely free to download? That's right. Your passport to a world of adventure is just a click away. And here's the cherry on top. With Passport Bros, you can make money while exploring new places. Turn your passion for travel into a source of income, right from your mobile device. So what are you waiting for? Download Passport Bros now, share your journey, connect with fellow explorers, and let the adventure begin.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.
All right, we are live. Welcome, family, to another show. It is your man BMT in the building. Let me get my panel right real quick. And we got a real important show for you guys today, man. We're gonna have to talk about some things today, family. There we go. We're gonna talk about some things today in concerns of the Passport Sis movement. Now, in general, all right, just to be fair, with the increase in people traveling outside the states, for long periods of time, not just so much on just a vacation. With the increase in people in general, Americans deciding to leave America and expat overseas in different countries, you're going to have an increase in problems. Let's just say that problems, and in some cases, crimes against tourists or against Americans in general. All right, as more people are getting their passports, more people are seeing more opportunities and an easier lifestyle overseas. Now, in general, most people that were leaving, for the most part, were guys, right? Now, women have always traveled, fair enough, but for guys, they've been doing this for a long time. Right before the passport bros movement was coined, or ideology, rather, not a movement, ideology. People were always traveling the world and expating in different countries. All right. Now, the reason I created Black Men Travels was specifically because I recognized when I started traveling that your travel experience is going to be very different depending on your sex and ethnicity, right? So if you have just a travel blog in general, you can speak on an overall experience in general. Hey, I went to Lapa, I had a great time. But if you want to get into the real deep specifics, it'll be better to say, hey, I'm a Black man and this was my journey. This was my experience overseas in this country, because we do deal with different issues as a Black male more so than maybe other people. In some cases, not all cases. It depends on what country you go to. All right. But when you're traveling as a woman, family, you're looking at a whole lot, a myriad of different issues at place. One of the bigger issues, and I've seen this before, and I knew this is going to kind of increase, is the fact that, women can be looked at or deemed at as prey easier, especially in these overseas, more patriarchal societies, right? So you got women, they're traveling more. It used to be people that was traveling, in the previous generation, usually travel with friends and family. It was kind of unheard of for women to be traveling dolo and digital nomad. And this is all kind of new, especially to the Black community, right? But they're being naive has caused a lot of issues. Now, we know we got a lot of issues with guys getting drugged and robbed in Colombia. That's really bad. But I do see a lot of issues on the other side of the passport bros movement. For the most part, when brothers travel, and this is whether you're white or Black, in general, there's no issues. In most cases, people are not looking at you. The reason why, because as a male, you are always deemed as a threat. When another man sees you in another country, he's going to look you up and down. Even if he wants to try something, he's going to say to himself, should I try this big dude, this big Black guy, this big white guy? Should I try this guy? He's big, yeah, he doesn't know where he's at. He don't know the language, but it's still a recognition of, okay, I can try this guy, but this guy can maybe beat me up. This guy might know some form of training. Guy might have a weapon. You just never know what you're dealing with. It's that recognition of sizing somebody up. When they're a female, there is no recognition. You might as well be a defenseless child. And unfortunately, some of our women in the States really internalize some of these movies that they see, where they see 5'5" women beating up 200-pound guys. That's the issue. It's the propaganda that's going on in America so deeply that kind of socialize women in the States to actually believe that they can, beat 4-5 guys up with some jiu-jitsu moves or something like that. They kind of internalize that for, and sometimes, unfortunately, some of them don't, but some of them do. They really go overseas thinking that the game is just the same when it's so different. That was the reason why I kind of separated the movement and made it kind of gender-based to a certain degree. All right. I want to give a shout out to the first super chat. My man Andre and Andrea Love Crossing Borders. We had a show earlier this week. It was really good. We actually spoke about this in a certain way as far as, the women that are traveling more overseas. He says, support Black male media, click the like button and support. Yeah, most definitely. Appreciate that super chat, Andre. Appreciate that. We gotta do another show real soon, man. All right. But before I get into the video, guys, I want to make an announcement real quick. All right. I'm happy to say that the Passport Bros app is available in both app stores right now. Right. We got in Google Play today. So if you haven't already downloaded the Passport Bros app, make sure to download the Passport Bros app. Right. Like I say, we're in the App Store and in Google Play. So I want to make that announcement for the family real quick. Now I'm gonna play a video. Guys, do me a favor. Let me put this up real quick. Do me a favor and make sure you hit that like button. I'm gonna play a video real quick. All right, let me set this up. Hold on.
This decision.
All right. All right, so this sister right here. This sister right here, man, she hold on. Let me get this together real quick. There we go. All right, this sister right here. Now, she ventured to Italy. I don't think she was dolo. I actually think she was with a group. But I want to listen to her experience being over there in the romanticized Italy. Okay. Let's just take a look at her experience.
There is one country you cannot pay me to visit again, and it has the worst culture of racism that I have ever experienced in my time abroad. I'm reviewing popular tourist destinations based on things to do and what it's like for Black people and people of color. My first time traveling to Italy was through the NYU Study Abroad program. And when I made this decision, the only thing on my mind was the pizza, the Vespas, the romance, basically the Lizzie McGuire movie, because this is what they showed us on TV. But one thing I didn't realize at the time was that all of these examples of this romanticized image of Italy was told through the lens of white people.
Now, interesting enough, why is she looking at the TV, getting information about traveling overseas to a foreign country? Why is she not doing more so of a deep dive and to see exactly, okay, let me get the rundown on a Facebook group or some travelers. Let me ask some friends they've been to Italy so I can get the real rundown. But let's continue.
In the same country Lizzie McGuire was falling in love with is the same country where they were throwing bananas at their first Black minister? Sure is. Oh, but Nicole, that's just a political thing. That doesn't really happen to people. She had bananas thrown at her, I had beer thrown at me, and then I was called a disgusting Black woman by this man right here. Well, obviously you did something. He was unsuccessfully flirting with some white girls in our group, and when he got upset, he started hurling insults at them. Then a Black woman went up and was like, hey, don't talk to women that way, and everyone on the beach just stood there as he manhandled her. So when I went up to defend her, punched him in his arm so he would let her go, he threw beer on us and called us disgusting Black women, even though we had nothing to do with why he was rejected. And I have traveled all up and down that country, and it's not even an isolated incident. Their feelings of disgust are palpable. I've been dramatically avoided on the street, looked down upon as if I'm begging for money instead of asking for direction, ignored by whole adults to the point where I've had to ask children for directions, because adults wouldn't even bother to look my way. And yes, io parlo italiano. Italy's got good food and interesting history, and yes, some Black people go and they just love it. It's great for people who are interested in the arts and beautiful architecture. But based on my own far too common experience, Italy gets a 1 out of 10 for me. There is one.
Okay, so that was her experience in Italy. She had she was saying people, now that might not have been the same experience as every Black person that's visiting Italy. I have heard some videos about Italy and their subtle racism and all that good thing. But the main point I want to say is she was jumped on, where her friend was jumped on and they was fighting a male on the beach, all right, in a foreign country where more than likely they're going to always side with the local. This is very dangerous. Now, if they had a man present, that possibility wouldn't have happened. But just the fact that, she's getting attacked or her friend's getting attacked on the beach is another passport sis fail, unfortunately. All right. Somebody said she should have minded her business. Yeah, she should have. Right. Go to places where you appreciate it. Now, somebody mentioned in the chat, somebody just mentioned they should go to Africa. Now, we're going to get to that video soon because we got a unfortunate situation going on in Africa right now. It's funny, Derek Thomas, that you mentioned Africa with the Colombian flag on. What up, Derek? It's funny that you mentioned Africa, man, because this next video is a little heart-wrenching. It's hard to see and internalize, but it needs to be put out there. And I hope it goes viral. I hope this story goes viral more and sisters can really understand what's going on overseas, because I think sometimes, and I've talked to sisters, I've met some sisters down in Brazil. They were American, and they told me, hey, Aaron, I don't date Black American men. And I say, okay, well, good luck. Good luck going out here dating foreign men. Good luck with that. And they're all still single to this day, right? Still single. Probably having more worse dating experiences than they do in the States. This romanticized version that women have of men overseas is totally false. Okay. The best man for them is always going to be in the West. But there's a lot of YouTube channels, of women saying, hey, I moved to this country and I got a husband and he's going to take care of me. And he pays all the bills and all this. It's all bullshit. I promise you. All right. It's all BS. I promise you. So I'm going to play this video. I'm going to hop in here real quick, man. And this is a sad story that's going on in the Gambia. All right.
And you turn.
And guys, do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button when you come in the room. Now, this is a sister right here. Unfortunately, she died under some mysterious circumstances, but she was making videos before she passed away. And it seems like people thought that she was crazy or something, but she ended up dying under some mysterious circumstances. I'm going to play this video right now. And this is why it's so important, man, for us still to somewhat connect overseas. Before I play the video real quick, and guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. Before I play the video, I just want to tell you a quick story about some sisters that I met in Medellin, Colombia, at a party, at a somewhat of a VIP party in a very nice hotel suite, right? Now, as the night went on, at first it was everybody, we knew everybody. It was mostly, passport bros, basically. Shout out to my man, Malcolm the Mayor. He was there. It was passport bros. And it was, of course, it was Colombians that we knew, Venezuelans that we knew. Then as the night grew on, it was people starting to trek in that we didn't really know like that. It was like the friend of a friend, and in Medellin, that can be dangerous. In any circumstances where you partying, that could be a little dangerous, but even more so over there. So the people are behind the bar. They have bartenders, right? This is like a private hotel suite VIP party. There are bartenders, but I recognized that it was some sisters there, and they kind of gave me the bullshit greeting and whatnot. One of them was really, really rude, but I recognized that it was a guy that nobody knew getting her drinks from behind the bar, and nobody actually seeing what the guy's pouring, right? And I told her friend, since she was so rude, I said, hey, this is Medellin. You can't just let somebody pour you a drink that you have no idea who it is. I know y'all think it's safe because you got some brothers around, but we don't know these people. We don't know everybody in here. Like, it is somewhat our party, and this is like our folks, but we don't know everybody that's in here, right? And she's like, oh, yeah, really? I'm like, yeah, they kind of with drug people out here, and they got this thing called like a zombie drug, and they'll just lead you to the ATM. And that was still going on back then in 2021. But the chick was so rude, she wasn't hearing me. So the chick disappears. The sister just disappears. And her friend is like, hey, you think it'll be rude if I knock on the bathroom door? My friend's been in there with that guy for a very long time. And I'm sitting here like, oh, well, I mean, obviously, yeah. But a few minutes later, the chick comes out the room and, they leave and whatnot. And the guy that's in the room didn't even walk him out the door. You know what I'm saying? It was just like hella rude. Now, was she drugged? We don't know. But these are the type of things that they be doing overseas because they be so fucking naive. Pause. Excuse my French. Yeah, this is in Medellin. This is in 2021. And that's another thing. Jay Lack, you're absolutely right. Stop trying to do everything that men do, especially single men, right? Being people like that, you don't run around. Okay, bro. All right, so let's see this sister story.
Is related to.
She talked about the fact that whenever she came to the Gambia, that she felt that somebody was watching her. Let's check it out.
A lot of it is related to single women in the Gambia. So first, let me give you a little just preview of what happens when you come to Gambia single, okay? You may have it in your mind that you're not trying to date anyone. You just coming here to live your best life. Well, honey, from the time you get your feet on the ground, and I'm talking from the airport, people already have their eyes on you. Okay, they know what area you're going to. It's been reported where you're going to be living. There'll be that one person that thinks, well, I'm going to be the person to get that individual because that's going to be my cash cow.
That's interesting. And this is a warning that she put out in the Gambia. But let's continue. She started dating this man, a younger man, I'm assuming. Then she found out that something was off with him. And this is why she said this.
It only hit me today because I was like, I have a stalker. I have a stalker and I haven't told anyone. And it's not healthy. So let me just tell y'all what's going on. Okay, so I was seeing someone and I thought us meeting was like, you know, a spiritual thing. The bond, like we connected, we have good conversation, but there was something about this individual, but I could not put my finger on what it was. But, you know, I figure you're getting to know, take it, you know, keep him at a distance, but get to know him. So the more I get to know him, my spiritual abilities are coming in at the same time. So now I'm starting to have divinations. And when I tell you what I saw, y'all gonna be like, I saw this individual dealing with same-sex orgies. I saw this individual in different relationships.
Now, I think she's talking about like a visualization. I think she's going like deep. I don't think she's saying physically she saw these things, but she's saying like a visualization of this person.
I saw a lot of children around, and I mean, everything I'm seeing is nude. Okay, so now I'm thinking, hold up, this individual's in a cult. This is not I'm just a normal person. This is a foot soldier for the devil.
The scary thing is that she felt that he was involved in something else that was shady.
We need to wrap this situation up. He says, what do you mean? I said, there are such things as soulmates, twin spirits, and karmics. I said, you are a karmic. And he was like, what? I said, yeah, you are probably someone who killed me in a past life.
See, stuff like that. See, this is the thing, man. Black American men, we kind of used to the craziness of our women to a certain degree, right? But when you overseas, you're in a different country, you're dealing with men from a different culture, and she's saying things like that. Come on, man. See, as you know, we're gonna respond like, "Oh, this is crazy. Let me get on up out of here." But that other culture, man, they might internalize that totally different. They might feel like that's a real deal insult coming from a woman, right?
He was just like, "Why would you say that?" I said, "Because I see exactly who you are." I said, "You a demon." Straight up, you a demon. I see who you are. I see your sexual preferences. I see I see all of you. It's in the tiles. When I do water divination, I can see you.
Okay, so basically, remember, she's not talking to a Black American man with this. She's talking to a Gambian man saying all these things. Now, once again, to us, we understand the weirdness of our, misconstrued little dating hex culture in the States. So all we're gonna do is say to ourselves, "Shit, this chick is crazy. I'm gonna talk to you later. Whatever. You're getting visualizations and all this. You're gonna walk off. You're gonna step away." But she's involved in men from a whole different culture, and she's basically being insulting. Keep in mind, this woman is no longer here. She's doing these videos saying how she's insulting a local man that probably doesn't really want to be with her in the first place. Guys, keep in mind also that all these women in the Gambia that have been unalived had land. Okay, they had purchased land and properties, and they went out to date other Gambian men. The issue is the Gambian men that is worth something are already married, are already deep entrenched into their culture of marriage and tradition. So who are they really attracting being older women when you already have a country full of beautiful women of your own? This is the issue. And all these women have mysteriously passed away without any form of investigation, right? But we'll get to that.
So me seeing who you are knows that I don't want nobody like you around me. I know what my journey is, and my journey does not include anybody energy harvesting off of me, trying to be part of my legacy, trying to steal what I'm trying to build. I don't want nobody like that around me.
So keep in mind, she's trying to cut it off. She's basically trying to cut it off, but she's saying that, oh, I got a stalker now.
And he was so hurt. When I tell you his eyes filled up, they got real bloodshot red. And he was like, I can't believe I'm hearing this right now. I'm just in shock. I said, well, I'm gonna need you to process that because I stand by what I say.
Yes, she's mysteriously died, bro. She's passed away. Everybody's asking if she's still here. No, she's gone. The video is about her and the other women that have passed away mysteriously in the Gambia after they bought property and land. Okay, but once again, like I said before, most American men would know how to deal with that. We're not gonna gush over and start crying like that and shit. Like we already know what the game is. Okay, this older woman, she's talking about some spirituality. She see me in visions and all this. I'm out. But she's insulting a man of a different culture that she does not know. All right. And apparently she's being stalked now. Let's continue.
Let me tell y'all something. Do you know every time this man talked that white dog flipped on his back?
What? That's right. She felt that he was in a cult. And when she tried to break up with him, well, this is what he started doing.
They would even have people that try to get you to drink or eat from them. Let me tell you, I don't eat from places no more. Ever since I realized that this individual was stalking me, I said, you know what? I don't see him, but I know he is watching me. And sure enough, what he was doing was hiring the people that are working around me. There's 3 houses being constructed around me. He's hiring the construction workers and having them watch me and report when I am leaving, when I'm coming back. When I would go to walk in the woods, I would feel like someone is following me. Sure enough, he's telling these people when I go on the beach that own the restaurants, look and see where she's going. Look and see who she's talking to. Mind you, I'm always alone. So that's probably not the best thing either. I know everybody, but I move by myself. So this is more than somebody, you will have people latch onto you and they will harvest energy from you.
But stop the
Now, she's right about that. She's definitely right about that. She's right about that. Hold on. Let's continue.
Gambia towards women from the diaspora.
Greetings, family. So I'm here today to talk about the domestic violence that is taking place on the continent that no one seems to be talking about. A lot of folks come on talking about relationships and dating on the continent, but there are situations where sisters are coming over here and dating Gambian men and realizing that they're not who they thought they were. Okay, so that representative has left the building. After, I guess, a few days, weeks, they find out that the individual that they're with is possessive, unstable, physically aggressive. These individuals, when they are told they no longer want to see these men, are being abused. These men are forcing their way into their compounds, into their homes, and no one's stopping them. Because the logic is when you get involved with somebody that person now sort of possesses you or has access to you whenever they want.
Not trying to say I told you so or anything, but this is serious business. Anyways, she felt that somebody was watching her wherever she went. She felt that also somebody might be poisoning her food. And she kept on telling people about this. She kept on talking about the issues that was going on in the Gambia. But I want to go back to this stream because she was still living and she wasn't in so much a fear of her life. She felt that she could make it, but she did talk about another sister that died unexpectedly to poison her, and nobody believed her. Some
sister was doing videos the same way, so we was like, really?
Hold on.
There was one
did talk about another sister that
All right, so this is another woman right here, family. This is another woman.
died unexpectedly, and her name was Audrey Davis.
There was one sister here. I didn't even know her, but in a way I did, because it seemed like every place I had ever been and did a video, this sister was doing videos the same way. So we was like really had a lot in common, but I didn't know her. Her name was Audrey Davis. So all I hear is this sister is supposed to be getting married in 1 week. All of a sudden, the sister turns up dead. She's 54 years old. How? From what I heard, she didn't have any health problems, computer equipment. She's buying land and chickens. Her name was Audrey Davis. And I believe the channel she had was Soul Star Healing, something like that.
So then I started to go and look and find out who Audrey Davis was. She was a very beautiful and attractive lady. Here is Audrey Davis when she was living.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Solar Sister channel. It's your girl Solar Sister coming to you once again with another video. Guys, I wanted to come on here and just share with you a little information about the plans that I have for the land that was recently purchased in the village. Before we move forward though, if you would, go ahead, thumbs up the video, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, hit the notification bell if you'd like to be made aware of upcoming videos, and feel free to share with anyone you think might benefit. So guys, I mentioned in the video entitled What's Been Going On Lately that there was some land that was purchased in the village. We actually demarcated that land last week. That was hilarious. There's a little short video showing some of that, but the land is beautiful, so peaceful.
She was getting ready to get married to a younger Gambian man, but let's go back to see what Anja Africa said what happened with that.
So I ended up just doing a post and, you know, a couple of other things for the sister. And then we ended up talking to her best friend on the phone. We get on the phone with the best friend, and the best friend says to me, Andrea, did you know her? And I said, no, but I feel like that could have been me. I don't need to know her. So let me say, yes, that's my sister. Okay. So she said, well, you know, the husband told me an odd story. I said, what husband? The man she's supposed to marry.
All right, so guys, take a listen to this.
She said he was mad because he was calling the family, telling the family in the States, y'all are too selfish. Why won't you send for her body so I can accompany the body back to the States? Do y'all hear this? All the man had to say to the family, he is Gambian. Why haven't you sent for her body yet so I can come back with the coffin? That's what he had to say to the family. So when I talk to the sister now, the sister says to me, the girl, her friend, she says, do you know how she died? I said, I don't know, but I feel like it had something to do with her heart. And she said, how do you know that? I said, what do you mean? How do I know? She said, the husband called me, the fiance, and said he had to jump up and pee and go to the bathroom. And when he came back, she was having a heart attack.
Now, y'all know sisters don't be having heart attacks like that, especially ones that are pretty much retired, overseas, buying property, living seems to me, a stress-free life. She looked pretty healthy on the video, pretty well put together. Come on, man.
Is that not what happened to me when I ran to the bathroom?
And keep in mind, she was dating a younger Gambian man.
I said, okay, I'll see what time it is. She's trying to tell me something. So she's going to communicate with me again. Then another time, So we had that conversation. We talked about, organizing, talking to the rest of the family to see if we could put the clues together. About a week later, I have another dream where the sister comes to me and she shoves a plate of food in my stomach so hard that the pain woke me up out my sleep.
So she's talking about a dream now. She's talking about a dream she had.
And I said, whoa, sis, I'm new to this. I'm going to need you to kind of be a little easy with me, but I get it. So I believe that the sister was poisoned. Okay. She was poisoned. And all these different stories that this fiance is telling to people is because he is the one responsible for it. So fast forward, he now has her land. He had the house that she paid for how many years. This is what they do here. So, I'm like, just stop.
Audrey Davis met her fate in the Gambia. We don't know how she died, but Anja Africa somehow got sick. And I saw this GoFundMe. Somebody sent this to me, I think a day or so before she died, and she was in the hospital. She wasn't responsive. She passed away. Her son, I don't know if he had to come from New York City or the States to come and get the body, but it was a big mess. Some people believe that, she might have had a stroke or she could have been poisoned, but this is like the fifth lady in Gambia from the African American community or from the larger diaspora who has passed away in Gambia. This is not to throw shade at anybody from the Gambia.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it right there. You guys pretty much heard what happened. It's like 5 or 6 deaths like this, mysterious deaths. Now we all know, or we pretty much all know, family, that sisters don't be having heart attacks like that, especially the ones that's not working or anything, especially the ones probably living a healthy lifestyle. The problem is the governance is not probably investigating like they should. And of course, the property now goes to the husband. All right. So it's a dangerous game that they're playing out there, man. It really is a dangerous game that she's playing out there. So the sixth lady that was unalive was from the UK. Okay. And it even seems, that story of the husband asking the family, why don't you send for the body so I can return with the casket? That was something like it was almost intended or something like that. Like that was some real funny business over there with that husband. And we dealing with a different culture. It's hard pressed for somebody in a first world country to, get with the forensic investigator and all that. And the police and all that's pretty hard pressed, right? But overseas is much different, bro. It's much different. It's nothing more so than a conversation of them versus us type shit. Hey, this is American. She's not one of us. Yeah, I did this to her, but I'm gonna get her land, and that's good for Gambians. It gets real sticky in these countries. If you're not dealing with first world politics like that. And more likely, this is not a shot at the Gambian people, but more likely it's some foul play involved. More than likely, more likely, especially if the properties is going back to the husbands, or the husbands are getting the property, and the husbands are much younger. Okay. So guys, let me know what you think. We got 198 people in the room right now. All right, I'm gonna drop a link. You know what? I was going to end the show, but I want to hear your guys' opinions. But go light. These sisters have passed away, so this is not like a joking manner or anything like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and drop a link. If nobody pulls up, it's all good. All right. But we in here heavy. We in here deep today, man. We in the deep. Yeah, Bone. Is that Bone or Bane? Yeah, Bane. They want to get to the after husband wants to get stateside ASAP. Yeah, pretty much. Shots, my man William Salter. I think I know who that is. That's my man. I think he was out there in Thailand with me. I'm not sure, man, because y'all see your profile pic. All right. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring some of the guys on. Give me a second. Let me hold up. I gotta set my backgrounds up. Hold on. Give me one moment. Where we at? I think we right here. Okay, I think I can pull you out. Hold on. Hold on, family. Where we? Okay, hold on. I'm still trying to figure out this damn. Hold on, family. Where we?
Good evening.
Hold on. Yeah, I see y'all, but I don't see y'all. I'm trying to get the backgrounds together. There we go. There we go. Hold on. Hey, somebody got to mute up. I hear echo. See y'all. I'm trying to get the. Yeah, that's you. Go with Passport.
Yeah, good evening.
What's going on? Who's that? Passport, bro?
Yeah.
Business class.
Yeah, you know what? This story that you're bringing up, this sounds. Did you see that movie Killers of the Flower Moon?
Yeah, people were saying that in the chat. I have not seen that movie.
I think I'm the one who said it, but no.
Okay.
Basically, what it was about was Native American women they had their land, right, and white men were marrying them and then poisoning them and killing them off systematically in order to take their land from them because of the property rights that the.
You know what? I did see that movie. Now I think about it.
It's like really long. It's like 3 hours long. I think Scorsese made it. It had Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio. Really good movie, actually. But yeah, this is exactly what that sounds like. These passport sisters from America, I don't know what possesses them to go to Africa to buy land. Because I know I've heard that we've had what are those? I know we've had invitations from Ghana and all this, but these black women from America can't keep themselves out of South Africa and all these parts of Africa I would never go to because I understand that the political and the military situation is not stable in most of those countries. But they can't stay out of those countries. So my thinking is, it's like, if you don't get the warning out that, like, you can't even say you've been warned, because the thing about it is they're going over there looking for these dudes. All of these dudes are trying to take advantage of them. And there you have it. So I don't know what it takes. I don't know how many of them have to come back here in a box for them to figure it out. I just don't know. And it's funny because while they're busy making fun of black men who are getting scopolamine down there in Colombia, they're going over there, or they're going to Jamaica and they're getting unalived over there or in Jamaica. I don't know. I just don't get it. Nobody talks about it. So, I'm glad you brought this topic up. We need to, spread the word, because, they think that it's just, they think it's cute to fly to South Africa and Ghana and Gambia and all these places. And they're trying to hook up with these dudes, and it usually goes bad for them. So, yeah, great topic. Great topic. Next.
Let me also give an input, because I actually, I lived in Africa for a bit, West Africa. At least I believe it's Cameroon. I'm not sure if that's West Africa. But yeah, I've heard stories about things like this happening. They'll pull scams. They'll delete you. It's just like, this is just in general. I think it's men and women, but especially females, because you're more vulnerable. Some dude can come in there and try to finesse you, and then drug you. So these third world countries, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but are very are not the best place to buy land and try to build things unless you're like people, you have deep family and roots in that country. You can't just go there as a visitor and try to like buy property and do business, because you have to do a lot of research, because there's a bunch of scams. There's a bunch of people after your heads who are gonna try to finesse you out your money, try to extort you, try to finesse you and sell you property that isn't theirs. So especially in Africa, like in Colombia, things are different in Colombia, in at least most parts of South America, but Africa is a different beast to itself. So.
Okay. All right. Am I still there? I'm back. Apologies, family. Here we go. Go with Passport. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead. You was counting up at first, man. What happened?
I was having some camera issues. I had to take it off.
Okay.
Here's the problem with the passport sis. Passport sis, again, is just trying to duplicate what we're doing. But the issue is with them, they don't do enough research, like in terms of um, solo female travelers. That's always been an inherent danger, even
Facts.
before this whole passport bro movement even started.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this can go back to even to the Peace Corps. When you look at the Peace Corps, how many issues of SAs that have occurred with their female Peace Corps workers that have worked overseas? Um, there was even an incident a couple of years ago where these female hikers were SA'd and murdered by three guys in Morocco who were members of Al Qaeda. These are inherent dangers when dealing with female solo travelers. There's been numerous articles written about that. So for women to learn how to stay safe when they're doing female solo traveling, either in the Middle East or Europe or Asia and all these other places, but they're not taking they're not doing proper research and understanding these dangers exist. They're just too busy wanting to compete with the passport bros. And that's a whole different dynamic, because men inherently are like warriors and we know how to defend ourselves and we can properly do that, whereas women, not so much.
Facts. That's facts. Black Kenny, you want to hop in?
Yeah, how you doing today?
Hey,
What I see is, I mean, of course, it's natural for them to have that Pan-African mindset, the whole back to Africa. But what I see that they're not doing, like here, I'm in Panama right now, and there's a large expat population here in Panama. I mean, the majority of the people that I link up with are sisters. I mean, there is, the veterans that are here along, like myself, and, and they bring their wives over here. But the ones that, put the organizations and the clubs to, where they are able to come together is usually the sisters. And what I'm not seeing over when they go to, Gambia and Africa and all of these places is that they're not having the group settings. Because maybe if they were in those type of group settings where they had the girl code, we come together, we stick together, you wouldn't see a lot of these unalivings happening.
Facts. That's facts. That's facts, man.
But the one thing about Gambia is you have to look at Gambia is a very small country. It's a little strip that's within Senegal, and there's a lot of poor people over there. So when you're coming over from the United States with all this money, you're buying up their land. There's going to be some people that's going to be very offensive because that's their ancestral land. And a lot of African Americans don't realize that even if you go back to Africa, you're a foreigner. You're foreign to them. All because you got the same matching skin color, you're still foreign to them because you're not part of their immediate culture, and that's where a lot of African Americans get that confused.
I got a crazy story to kind of share with you, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me interrupt you for a little bit. My mom was, she went back to her country, her where she was born, right? And there's like a village there, like with some like elder chiefs and stuff. They were trying to like extort her for like thousands of dollars because they knew that she was American. Then she spent most of her life, at least like 20 plus years in America, but she also lived in Cameroon. So they were trying to extort her, and then she had to kind of fight. And this is when she was going. I think we're going back to like to bury someone who died in her family. So they were trying to extort, saying, "Hey, if you don't pay this money, you won't be able to bury this family member." So it's really, even if she's from there, she spent like 30 years in that country. Her grandmother lived there, family members live there, and you still try to extort. So it's super, risky to be doing sort of even traveling through and try to do business if you're coming from America, and even though you've lived in that same place 30 years. So that's how dangerous Africa is, certain parts.
I want to catch this comment by Bain. He said there were two sisters who got off in Ghana over land, and the locals wanted back. They were from Detroit. It seems, man, that you gotta be careful buying land, like the brother said, in these third world countries, man.
And keep in mind, you still have those known terrorist groups that's still in Africa, like ISIS and Al Qaeda and Al Shabaab and all these other groups and stuff. So that's another level of worry you have to worry about. So, you're going over there buying all this land. You have all these militia groups you're going to have to deal with if you even just, decide you want to fight against their system and stuff like that. You have to be careful up in that region. And I'm not particularly sure exactly the region that they're in and what the activity level is as far as terrorist groups, but there is terrorist activities around that middle region stretching from the Atlantic Ocean all the way across that, you need to be careful because there are some terrorist groups active in that area.
That's an unfortunate situation. Even in Barranquilla, Timothy Reed, he had bought like a building, I believe. And I guess he wanted the residents out of that building. And somehow he ended up getting robbed and shot and killed. So it's just, you got to be real careful on moving internationally in any country that you're in, either male or female. You got to really, I always say this, you got to learn the soft politics of the country, right? The Chamber of Commerces and stuff like that, really is the cartel and the mafias and mafiosos. Like, you got to really understand that, okay, yeah, this, all these acres of land on the lake is only 10 grand, but this particular guerrilla group, this is their territory. And the realtor's not going to tell you that. The government's not going to tell you that because they just want your money. That's why I say you got to be very, very careful. And people will scheme because they can always say it's them versus us. She's not from here. He's not from here. Oh, he's a hard-headed American. Screw him. Let's just get his money. I remember one time in Thailand, man, his brother was going to open up the biggest dispensary. He's going to open up the biggest dispensary in Pattaya. It's big. He bought this big building, right? And he goes to make, to an opening week and everything. And he finds out that he only has half the building. They only sold him half the building, right? Literally half the building. Like, it was splitting through the offices and everything. He's like, what the? I only bought half the building. The realtor, the lawyer, everybody was all in on it to pretty much screw this guy over. So he lost his money. He built a whole new roof on the place. He lost like thousands of dollars because they screwed him. He's not from there. So you got to be careful with that. Definitely got to be careful with that. What I suggest, if anything, maybe purchasing an apartment, or just be careful, man. Make sure you validate it. A lot of times when you have let's just say like Dominican Americans or Nigerian Americans or something like that, when they go back to Africa or they go back to the DR, they're purchasing land that everybody already knows is available, right? Or they family know of, like they know of, so they're able to benefit off of being, Dominican and American, and Nigerian and American. Whereas us just being totally American, we really don't know. We Googling shit, maybe getting a consultation or two, but we really don't know. And that's unfortunate because when it comes to land and properties, the nastiest people, the nastiest portions of a person will emerge when it comes to those two things, property and real estate. That's why they call it real estate. Okay. And just think about it. Just think about that. These people didn't have to spend any money. They wives mysteriously died. And now the property and land is theirs. There's no informal investigation on foul play. That's real suspicious, man. That's real suspicious, in my opinion.
Well, I also wanted to add this. What I also see is a lot of times is that we're always going someplace and we're trying to do our own thing instead of, going together and, buying up a neighborhood as, a group. Like here in Panama, the Panamanian government or the Panamanians is complaining about the white folks who bought, a lot of land, acres of land, and they built their own community out in the countryside of Bukete. But, anytime that, we go someplace, even if we're buying land, we're not trying to do it as a group. We're always trying to do our own thing and stay away. And that's why we're always getting picked off so easily.
Mm-hmm. That's facts. That's very facts. Passport Bro's been in class, man. You quiet for the first time ever, bro. You good?
Oh no, I'm just trying to allow everyone else to have their chance to speak. But on what the last dude said, you got to understand, when white people go into a country, they basically go in with the military. Blacks ain't got no military in America to secure their holdings abroad. So
that's facts.
My thinking personally is, and I deal in mostly Southeast Asia. My thinking is, I don't mind owning a condo in the Philippines, but I would never buy land and I would never invest in any foreign country simply because of things just like this, where you can't be certain that your investment is going to hold up if somebody decides to, basically say, it doesn't hold up. So me personally, it's like some people, you know what they say? They say out of sight, out of mind. The only investments I got are right here in America, with the exception of a condo overseas. But I can't see putting real money and real investment in these other in foreign countries. I can't. There's too much graft. There's too much, anti-foreigner law and everything. It's just not worth it to me.
You should become a citizen of any country, or at least try to get like a residency before you even try to get any sort of property.
I'm a
citizen.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I'm a citizen here, and if I own 3 houses at this point, if I can't get to my property within like 20 miles of driving, it's not something that I need to own. So when you're talking about I got to fly 19 hours to get someplace, or 16, to me that's just not worth it.
You can have someone manage your property, especially like in Colombia. Like Colombia's a pretty safe place. I mean,
you mean that place where there's Polyamine and everybody? That place?
No. So I live in Cali, Colombia, right? Like where I live right now is gated, so you can't come in without you coming through like two guys with a gun, and it's gated and cameras everywhere. And this is how most of the spots are like this. If you get a good apartment, you can't just come in and walk in and do whatever you want to, because someone's always going to be watching, looking for you, checking your ID. So if you got bought an apartment like this, and bought it and have someone manage it, that's what I'm reading right now from someone who's doing that right now. So it's pretty safe in Cali, Colombia. Medellin, Colombia might be the same as well. But just have to do your research and figure out how things work before you start, buying different properties. But just got to do your research.
Here in Medellin, Colombia, you just have to do a lot of extensive research before you decide to purchase any type of property. You have to just like what Ethan said, it's just best if you try to obtain some sort of residency in the country prior to you deciding to, hey, I'm gonna make my investment into the country.
There's also visas that you can get if you you buy a property, but you still do your research. And they'll give you a good visa. I think it's a business visa. If you put a certain amount for an apartment, they'll give you this visa. But yeah, it's pretty. I think it's pretty safe. I would buy a property in Colombia. It's pretty cheap, and the prices are going to go up. Just do your research. Talk to some real estate agencies, and because this is all these things is done through like a real estate agency. So there's someone who can, lawyers, hire a good lawyer, things like that will help you kind of make the right decision. It's not as dangerous as everyone thinks it is compared to
Really
like
isn't.
Africa. Africa might be a different ball game, because you kind of is different. Here is like there's more there's not as much corruption. Things are pretty business oriented, and there's ways to hold people accountable. Like a bunch of lawyers here. There's a decent court system. Like when you commit a crime, you do get people will get caught and arrested.
Ooh, hey, I don't know about that, bro.
Yeah, you see this
in
example.
Colombia, I don't know about that. I'm real tied into to those little politics out there. I know guys who train the police out there. They just be like, bro, this motherfucker's corrupt as corrupt can get. So
yeah, I'm sorry.
It's still not. I see what you're saying, bro, but it's still not America.
Yeah,
right?
it's not.
Not America. It is not. If you're expecting the governance of America, yeah, they got a lawyer system. It's okay, but it is nowhere near as America. You're not paying off nobody in America for the most part.
You're right. Yeah, because the salaries are so high in America that there's no way you'd be able to pay them off unless you were like a multi-millionaire. But yeah, you're right.
They do at a very, very high level versus, man, I'm telling you, man, like some of the stories I be hearing from one of my guys that train the police out there. He be like, hey, man, you know what happened? I thought you was going to, arrest the guy that commit that crime. He's like, oh man, there's so much paperwork, man. He just gave me 100,000, 100 mil, and I just said, hey, go ahead. It's that type of stuff that's going on out there too.
You're right. Yeah.
I've actually experienced that. Like I've been in situations with the police, and it's just like, here you go type situation. So that's the big difference.
Yeah, you're right. It's not as, of course, compared to America, it's not as like, the laws and the justice system is not as like, well established as America. It's easy to get away with things if you have enough money. You able to get away with things. So yeah,
Man,
you're right.
I was so nervous when I got pulled over. Where was I at? I was in Colombia. I was in Medellin, as a matter of fact. And I was with my homeboys from Guatemala. And they speaking Spanish so damn fast, I can't catch everything. I'm just like, what are they doing? And they're just basically, it's like a little light shakedown. And I was so nervous. I'm sitting here like, because I'm not used to you being able to pay off the cops. I'm just sitting here like, oh, you offering the cop money? You better go to jail for bribery. Oh, snap. And it's just like, okay, bye, thanks. And it's just like, oh, that's how I go down out here? And I saw the same thing in the DR. I saw the same thing in Brazil, So it's like, okay, which can be a plus or a minus to a certain degree. But when you think about that, if it's that level that you can bribe a cop for committing a crime, then think how high that level can go if you can get a cop to take 40, 50 bucks. Just imagine what you can do with a couple thousand.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who work here don't get paid that much. So yeah, it's easy to bribe off people because of the salary difference. They don't make that much. So yeah,
Yeah, man.
Fair point.
Most definitely. But that's the sad situation. I just wanted to pull that out. And there's been other stories. It's been other stories of women getting in trouble with the laws, and they put all that, they be demonizing passport bros, but in a lot of situations, it's not the actual passport bros. It's just dudes that be overseas traveling and they get deemed passport bros because it's negative, right? So if it's negative, oh, these are passport bros. If it's something positive, it's something, something different, right? But in a lot of cases, the guys that actually abide by the passport bro ideology, like there's no incidents like that,
Yeah, well, they're busy talking about the dudes who aren't even black, and they just use it for entertainment. So my thinking is, it's like they think it's a game, but when they go over there, worse happens to them. So, but you know what? It is what it is. It's like I'd hope that these women would be smarter, but I already know that's not going to happen.
Well, the thing she kind of told on herself, and rest in power to her, man. This is not a diss to her at all. But like I said before, we are used to certain things with our women. Like we take the most mental abuse that any other man, any other race will accept, right? Black American men. We kind of take it. So if she's sitting across from me and she's basically insulting me, saying she's seen me in visualizations with all these people and same sexes and everything, I'm just going to dismiss it like, this chick is crazy. But you don't know how that other culture is going to internalize that. He might actually be like, damn, you saw me like that? Because they might be on that type of spirituality type of, it's hitting hard. It's hitting him hard, right? It's hitting them harder. She don't know. So that's another problem. They go out there and they're insulting and they expect the local men to accept all the bullshit that black men in America have accepted as a norm. Because we got this thing in our community, family, where it's like this consistent, like this going back and forth of undermining with us and our women. Like the little constant digs that we kind of normalize. You know what I'm saying? Like it was within our culture. Like you ever been over somebody's house and your parents or your friends' parents, and they kind of jokingly going back and forth. That's kind of normal in our culture. Like, okay, yeah, they got the little funny going back and forth jokester relationship. But overseas, you try to apply that to somebody from a different culture, they taking that shit very seriously because a lot of times in these overseas countries, they don't know the type of humor that we have, right?
Right.
And she's insulting a grown man in another country, and now she's mysteriously passed away.
What I find ironic about this whole thing is with these women,
All right,
They're
so Mufasa,
passing.
hey, Mufasa, pull up, man. Pull up, bro. I already know. Pull up. He's
They
saying that it's not has been confirmed. It's misinformation. Sometimes you just got to put two and two together, bro. Younger man, foreign woman had real estate, had property. Foreign woman dies mysteriously. We know black women don't have heart attacks in their 50s, bro. Okay, they live a good, long, healthy life. Especially, she looked like she was healthy and anything like that. So mysteriously, she's passed away under mysterious circumstances, and the guy ends up with the property. Come on, fam. Just put two and two together.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened here. It was another story similar that happened here in Colombia, where an older gentleman was doing, came here, bought some property, and he had like a younger chick, and I
Mhm.
believe, and they set him up, like dudes on the mopeds came through and just kind of, handle him, and it's kind of like a similar situation. So yeah, you got to just kind of read the situation and realize that, younger dude, older female, real estate, put the pieces together and it'll make sense. So
Yeah, sometimes dudes be trying to overcomplicate shit, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want it to be true, so they're gonna, overcomplicate it, man. It is what it is, bro.
And by the way, when you're a passport bro, you go over to these other countries, and I've seen this among white travelers too, white male travelers.
Mhm.
The families and even the women that they're dating, they always try to get you to invest in something. Pig farms. They try to get you to help pay off the debt for their parents' house and stuff. Bottom line is, I'm not investing in anything at all that's not in American soil, for one. And second of all, most of those laws over there, they have it so that you can't own anything anyway because you're a foreigner. So you have to do it through the wife, or you have to have it invested through your children. Your children can inherit, you can't. Your wife can inherit, you can't. So the bottom line is, with laws like that, they can forget it. I'm not putting nothing over there. A lot of these white guys, they start investing into this overseas stuff, and they're surprised when all of a sudden the chick up and leaves them, and she's got full custody over whatever it is. Or they send in their retirement funds over there to build a house, and it's being built in her name on her land. And then all of a sudden they come over there, they pack their bags, they fly over there, and she's living up in there with her boyfriend and her family, and she's got the door locked. And I've heard that story so many times, and you'd think that these dudes would know better by now. But when you're sharing this information, yeah, people should take it absolutely seriously. As far as me, I ain't investing overseas. What I got right here.
yeah,
You know what, man? That's 100% facts. I know guys that have lost, unfortunately, whole entire businesses. They put the money up, and they foreign wife will do some finessing with the paperwork, and somehow they lose their business. I've seen it. So you got to be careful. A lot of people have a romanticized version of going overseas and finding a wife and it being all good, but the game is still the game, no matter where you at, especially in Thailand. I've seen guys lose their businesses in Thailand.
yeah,
I've seen guys lose their houses in Thailand. As a matter of fact, in Thailand, because the way YouTube does it, it's like when you in Thailand, you see more Thailand content, of course, right? So when I was out there, it was whole channels dedicated to guys losing it all, basically doing these interviews. It's guys that interview, other foreigners from, UK and whatever, how they got finessed, basically. And these guys get got for 300,000, 400,000, houses, businesses, gold, properties, everything, because they led, they thought that they wife, they, loved them.
yeah.
And
The-
it's very unfortunate. It's
yeah.
very
These days, I would recommend just do crypto and do stocks, because that way you have full control. Because you don't want to, if you don't live in a country full time and you're not a citizen, don't take that risk. Just do invest in your stocks, invest in your country, and invest in crypto. That would be better off. You want full control of anything that you do, and don't tell anybody. Just do it for yourself. That's safer than going
Yeah,
to
man,
another.
and no matter how much, this is the thing, man. I know guys who want to be, especially guys that leave with their wallet. They want to tell their women with all finances they got, bro. Don't be a sucker. Don't tell them about your crypto keys and all the hundreds of thousands you got in crypto, okay? Because they'll come and get that too.
Did you cover that dude in Colombia that they were talking about? Where this dude supposedly he had gold bricks in a bulletproof bag, and he had 50,000 in crypto, and
I mean, I actually come to find out, I actually know that dude. I actually met him.
Yeah, well, bottom line,
we're going to do a show. Actually, we got a show coming up.
I'll tell you like this: for as long as and I've been traveling for years, and I've never had anything even remotely like that happen. Never been robbed, none of that. If crypto is your thing, that's cool. I work in credit cards, so if I call up American Express, I call up Visa, I call up a Mastercard, and I tell them, yeah, there's something funny going down with one of my cards. All they do is they shut that card down. I get refunded entirely, and that's it. So it's like this whole thing, crypto. My problem with that is if it can't be traced, then it can't be. It's first of all, it's not insured. That's number one. Number two, if it can't be traced, the expenses, you're not going to get any of that back. With credit cards, however, I've never had a problem. Even when you've had like some hackers maybe got the numbers off the computer or something like that, and they spent some money. I always got 100% of that money back. So I only deal with banks and credit. I don't carry that much cash on me. I damn sure wouldn't be walking around with no gold bricks, and I damn sure wouldn't be carrying around jewelry and stuff like that. So some of these guys really need to wake up, because a lot of these dudes go to these countries. These are poor countries. They go to these countries dressed like food, and then they wonder why they get eaten up and scopolamines and stuff. Like, Colombia is not on my shopping list. I'm not going there. So that's, if you're down there, that's cool. So stay safe and all that. I only go to countries where the government is so draconian that their own people are terrified of their own governments. They would never touch a tourist. Other than that, I ain't going.
Now, see, people make Colombia appear as if it's dangerous. It's really not. It's just a bunch of these dudes who get drugged and give Colombia a bad image. Like me, I've been in Colombia for like a year and 4 months. I live a normal life. I went out and took a walk with my girl a few hours ago. We go out to the mall. We go to go eat some food at a restaurant. We go to the central to go like see some lights. I live a regular life. I work. I go out, hit the gym. It's not as dangerous. Please don't. These stories about people getting drugged. It's just a bunch of idiots who are just chasing after females.
Man, hold on.
Let me ask this. What? Give me an example. Give me an example of a place that's dangerous, and why do you think it's dangerous?
Hold on.
America.
Hold on, Mufasa. Just hop on and try the dynamics of the show. Hold on, brother. Hold on. Give me a second. I gotta say something to Ethan, man. That's not true, bro. I gotta put that out there, because some of the guys I know personally that have been drugged, they were just normally dating and got drugged. It's just not guys going to the red light districts getting drugged. They have a whole system out there, bro. They have a whole system out there. So.
They were using Tinder, right?
Huh?
It's not as if they met a regular chick at the grocery store, at the mall, and be like, "Hey, what's your TNN WhatsApp?" Got their WhatsApp.
I know Colombians that have gotten scopolamine in like regular situations, bro. It's okay. Listen, I was out there for almost 2 years. I lived with a Latina. Once you really get into the mix and start really picking up on what's really going on, Colombia is hella fucking dangerous. Don't let nobody tell you that it's not, bro.
I don't understand.
Like, I don't understand what y'all gotta like.
No,
I love
don't
Colombia,
understand
bro.
why.
And I'm going back to Colombia, but I'm just saying that this whole is how you move. Yeah, you can get a girl, you can go to the store and go back home and go to the grocery store. That's cool, bro. But just in every daily life situations out there, yeah, it can get sketchy, bro. They be on grind mode a lot, because it's a very poor country. It's a very poor country, and we don't recognize how really poor it is, right? Because we just so used to a certain standard because we're Americans, and our definition of poor is different because we have government assistance, right? And they got government assistance to a certain degree too. But bro, the way they be moving around there, man, like once you really get to the gist of the stories and you hear more daily, this happened. It's just not, guys. I mean,
it's like every other month.
It's like a
Colombia.
Everyone is not poor out here. This is literally a guy who has a Mercedes in my complex. People have money out here.
The majority of South America is poor, bro.
What did he do to get that
Mercedes? The whole country is designed that way. They want economically to keep places, right, of heavy resources and melanin people. They design it to keep it poor.
My girl, there's another girl I was talking to. She drives. She's a lawyer. she drives a nice car. Went out to the mall with her. Like people out here have money. A lot of people are poor, but it's not as if everyone is poor. Like it's
All
just
right.
like you see a bunch of bums just walking around. People have jobs. People make the regular salary and live a really comfortable life. It's not that everyone is poor and just out here trying to rob you. There's very few people like that.
Yeah,
Where
but
I
this is
live
not
right
like
now
the
is a
problem.
bunch of.
Okay,
Go ahead.
bro. You ain't been out there long enough, man.
I have been. I'm gonna stay here for like another 4 years and just experience more about Colombia.
Okay.
It's
Hey, like I
not
said,
it's
I'm
not
not
just
necessarily
Colombia though. It's not
I'm
just
not
Colombia.
disagreeing with you totally, bro. But to say that Colombia is not a dangerous country is very misleading. It's
But dude,
misleading.
it's not just Colombia. A lot of South America. There was a Staten Island black dude from here who got shot in Chile. All he was doing was taking pictures of like the area, and he was in Chile and he just got shot by some dudes, and they didn't even care that he was a tourist. Now, obviously, if he's a tourist, he's going to be taking pictures. So Colombia, Chile, a lot of those South American countries, a lot of those are recovering narco terrorist states. They're not. It's not just that they're poor. It's just that they have very bad political, very bad policing, and very bad government situations. It's not stable. So if you took Colombia out of the question, this whole scopolamine issue would disappear. You don't hear about this in Thailand. You don't hear about this in Philippines. You certainly don't hear about it in Vietnam and Cambodia, because if any of those people even got caught with drugs like that, they'd be executed. So my thinking is, listen, until your government gets straight, I ain't coming.
Do you think Detroit is more dangerous than Colombia?
Oh, Detroit's definitely more dangerous. That's why I don't go to Detroit.
Okay, so there's places in America that is just as dangerous as Colombia. If not, you can get mass.
Dude,
I've been
all over the world. There's most of America I have never seen, and the reason why is because America is really that dangerous. Where you go around, you can get your car fucking stolen. You can get jacked. Yeah. No, man, I don't even like going to the Bronx.
That's why, hey, bro. That's why I tell brothers, hey, guys, pull up in Southeast Asia, man. It's Colombia is beautiful, Brazil is cool, but go to some different countries, bro. Experience what it feels like to be in a safe environment. I promise you. All right.
I feel safe. I feel safe in my, at my old Airbnb, I always left my door open many times. Like I never locked it. I just walked out, came back 2 hours later, nothing happened. So I feel very safe in Colombia.
With all due respect, bro, I think you're in denial, bro.
Yes,
I'm not in denial.
I think you're in denial. Respectfully,
I've lived here more than everybody on this panel. I'm not sure. Maybe on the BMT. I would say in total, I've been here about like a year and 8 months in my total stay.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Almost 2 years now. You live in
Medellin. You might as well put a sign on the door that says "Rob me."
Ethan, we gotta do a show, bro.
We will. We gotta do a show. We will. I'm a cam up too. Definitely.
The guy who got robbed. Didn't he say he was there for 5 years? The one that he was just talking about that got robbed for the 50 grand. He said he was in Colombia for 5 years.
Nah,
listen,
but the thing
is, when I first got to Thailand, it was so many bros out there. It was just like, yeah, man, I left Colombia. I was living there for 10 years and got drugged around. So
we also got to take into account that two things can be true at the same time. You talk about how dangerous America is in certain parts, so you can live here and it's dangerous. Like the two things are true at the same time. So just because you're there doesn't invalidate the danger. You can't pull. Yeah, you cannot pull me up somewhere. You couldn't, off the top of your head, pull up a place where so many tourists have died in a 3-month stretch. You couldn't think of it off the top of your head, and it'd be hard to even search for it.
You also gotta look about the way, like how these dudes are moving. These dudes are bringing chicks off Tinder directly to their place. You guys are not factoring it in. Like maybe you shouldn't just bring a chick that you don't know. There's only a few of those cases, like that Asian guy who knew that chick for like 6 months. He was dating her, and then that happened. Like that's something that is like really unexpected. But 90% of these dudes are moving wrong, meeting a chick off of Tinder, bringing her to your house immediately. Like that's just, and that dude named Q, who was in a different country in South America. He met 2 Colombians. He let his cousin come with the other girl to his spot. Like that's a bad idea.
No, you're total.
hold on, my bad, Mufasa. I got you too, Mufasa. I don't mean to keep cutting you off, brother. You know I rock with you. But this is the thing, bro. If you can pay the police off for 40, 50 bucks, you are not in a safe place. It's just period, bro. You're not in a safe area, dog. That's how you got to figure it out. When I tell you the stories I be getting and how a lot of times guys be getting let go for serious crimes because some of the people don't want to do the paperwork, that's not going to be a safe environment 9 times out of 10. All right. But guys, real quick, before I get to you, Mufasa, real quick, guys, we are officially in both app stores. So I need everybody in the chat. It's free to download. Make sure to download the Passport Bros app. We got to get the busters out of these apps because we got a lot of knockoffs. All right. That's the real. I don't know if you see it's a little blurry. That's the real deal right there, family. All right. So do me a favor. The link is in the description. Download the Passport Bros app. All right. We need you to go ahead and download it. It's free to download. Check it out. We got our own community. All right. In the description. All right. I need everybody on the panel to sign up too. Okay.
Drop the link.
There you go. That's how you post today, bro. That's how you post today. Yeah, you muted.
No, I'm about to say I can't. It ain't working, but I'm in there.
Okay. Oh, what's not working?
I got the blur thing on, and I don't feel like doing all that. I'm kind of multitasking and working, so
okay.
You know, take my word for it. It's there.
All right, got you. All right, but let's not. We got kind of off tangent a little bit, man. Let's go back. You were saying in the chat that you think that the women in Africa didn't die under mysterious circumstances. What were you trying to say?
I just think we got to be careful about narratives and things like that, and not having facts. But I think the way you read it, I think you took it like I was like antagonizing. Like, wait a minute, we don't know. I think those are some suspicious circumstances, and I agree that it is a lot of sisters just going over there. You know what I'm saying? Just going over there. Dating dudes, just kind of tiptoeing through the tulips, not being realistic about what they're doing, and just dating dudes, and then and going to villages, just in the hood, just not really paying attention to what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But I think at the same time, we don't know if these people got medical issues. We don't know what's going on in these people's lives. Like I just think about me, like it's been times where I'm in the middle of Nigeria somewhere. If something happened to me, nobody could really speak to what's going on or why I was there, what I was doing, because I haven't talked to anybody or told anybody, right? And then people would just come out and start to speculate, but you don't know. How do we know this lady didn't have stage 4 cancer and went over there? You know what I'm saying? We don't know what's going on. And then by the way she talks, people are spinning a narrative off of the kind of paranoid soliloquy she was giving, but you could kind of tell, no disrespect to her, but she seemed paranoid to me. You know what I mean? I'm actually a practitioner of African religion. You know what I'm saying? I practice Isheshe or Ifa or whatever. It's organized. It's there's more to it. It's not just some random stuff where she's saying she's doing water divinations and she's seeing things. But then I was like kind of watching a couple videos. I never really seen her indicate which exact tradition she practiced, who taught her. And there's a lot of women. I don't have time to just do all the research on her, but there's a lot of women and people in general who just like they call things the African spirituality, and then they just do random stuff. They don't have a teacher. They're not initiated. They're not none of that, and they just making up stuff. And sometimes people use African spirituality as a vehicle for their paranoia. Like another example would be like people who do conspiracy theories, right? We know that there's some real conspiracy theories and some cause for some legitimate concern, but we all know that person who takes it and they watching me right now. Turn off the lights, turn off the phone. Everybody, I can't even go outside. The government watching. You know, really, this is a mentally ill person expressing their mental illness using conspiracy theories. And there's people who express their mental illness using African spirituality and all this kind of weird, twisted. I did a divination and I seen you naked with children. What the hell does that mean? And now we're using that to spin a narrative, right? So the person says she was paranoid for a reason. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. I don't know. But her going that diatribe she gave, it didn't give her a lot of credibility it didn't give her complaints a lot of credibility in my eyes from what I've seen. So I was just pointing out that we don't necessarily know, but I think I still think these are legitimate questions. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I was saying.
Okay. Okay. And do you see anything when you travel in Nigeria? Because I know you guys take like, whole groups. Are the women that's with you, are they kind of on point? Do you kind of have to give them a rundown on being safe, or is it kind of like a free fall when they tap down in Nigeria?
So I went with a group one time, and it was a sister there. She was actually dating someone there, and they had to kind of tell her like, look, you're gonna have to stay here. You can't just go off with this dude. So, but at the end of the day, she was there on a tour led by a man with other men around that she could talk to us and whatever. So we helped her out. You see what I'm saying? Now on that same tour, I had someone I had been talking to for months, and I went and did my thing, but I did it, and I went to meet the person and everything like that, but I did it in a different way. And I'm a 6'4", 300-pound man, right?
Okay.
That understand it's not the same. So I did me, but she wasn't doing it like me. And then I'm an experienced traveler. This was her first time leaving the country. So these are all things that you have to take into account. But I think it worked out in her benefit that there was a man and men around her as she was doing that. You feel what I'm saying?
Like, did you talk to any Nigerian men? Did you ask them were they interested in dating American women, or?
I've never talked to nobody about it, but I know they all are. I mean, who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't want to walk in bag of money to date them? Like who? And then they all want to go to America.
Is that the specific reason why they want to date American women? Because they're a walking bag of money in their eyes?
Yeah, or
getting back to America.
Yeah, both. It's like to get back to America and to do that. I think that's the case in a lot. Or sometimes, they could just kind of make money dealing with them. There's a lot of deception in that. I'm sure there's some legitimate ones that happen, but I don't know. I haven't got to see one up close. Everyone I seen seemed like an arrangement at best and exploitation at worst.
Okay,
that's just what I've seen.
Which country is it? I keep forgetting the country. Is it where the old white women, like the grannies from Europe, be going
Gambia.
down?
The Gambia.
So it's the same country.
This country. If you type in S tourism, it's the first thing that's going to pop up.
Oh man! So wait a minute. So the Gambia is the country where the sex tourism is going on.
Yep.
With the women.
Yep.
That's interesting. Man.
This place is well known for it, and even sometimes it's a lot of underage stuff that's well known. Just all you got to do is type in the Gambia. It's going to pop up. Something about S tourism is going to be in there. Is that rampant? And people got to realize the Gambia is a tiny. I'm in San Diego city right now. Mm-hmm. There's more people in this city than there is in that entire country. It's like 2 million people, and it's one of the poorest countries on the African continent. Second, like fourth only to like the Central African Republic, some other places that are totally shitholes, or excuse my language, like totally poor places. So yeah, you're looking at a pretty much like nothing. Like there's nothing really going on there. That's why it's so easy to exploit, and that's why it's such a target. Now, there's some things you could do there. I want to paint it like everyone that's going there is an S tourist, right? But I'm just saying it is well known for that, and those dynamics are there. And you have a lot of middle-aged women going there, kind of getting in these arrangements. Like you get dudes going there with dudes that's like built 6-8 packs and all that. I mean, what you think is going on, bro?
Okay, so I want to ask you this in concerns of the land purchasing in Africa. I've heard issues with people getting hurt, killed for land. Is it that serious over there about the land? Would you buy land in Nigeria?
Yeah, I would buy land. But for me, I have an issue with the whole lease thing. I have an issue with that. Yeah, I have an issue with that. So there's some places where you can freehold. I do have some interest in, like Sierra Leone, for instance. You can get citizenship if your DNA traces back there. You can get actual citizenship, and you can buy land like the locals can buy land. But you got other places like Ghana where they're doing 50-year leases. Sometimes they do 99-year leases, and it's like, oh, they say, yeah, don't worry about it though. At the end of the lease, you'll continue it. I'm like, then why don't we just call it freehold? Like, it's hard for me to trust that. I don't trust business in West Africa, especially certain square. I just generally, as a general rule, I do not trust them, period. And even as a Pan-Africanist who believes in going back and I mean, not necessarily going back, but I believe in us working together. You could be a Pan-Africanist from right here where you at. But I'm saying I believe in doing that and working and building on the continent. But I feel like it's something you should be very careful with. And I wouldn't go over maybe 20-30% of my investment portfolio with my investments there. I wouldn't even me wouldn't risk it all in some of these countries. But you have to pay attention because each country is different. There's an African business coach. I forget her name right now. She's an Ethiopian lady, but she pretty much ranks the different African countries on 3 tiers. And there's high risk countries, and then there's lower risk countries. So I would like check in with her. She has an ebook. You can read that. You can kind of tap into that. And you have to be very careful about how you do this thing. But when it comes to Africa, people are just strictly emotional. So they're not thinking about none of that. That's why I went around there. I looked around, and I'm a person with business experience and investment experience. So I'm looking at it for what it really is. I know stuff can go wrong. Some of these people are inexperienced. They don't know that. They just gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful about that. So to answer your question, I would buy land, but I want freehold on my land. And you're not always getting that. You're getting these lease situations. And then people are going into these situations where they're going into these like rural areas. There's no other African Americans nowhere around. And then they're just surrounded by a bunch of people that's sitting and looking at them, spending American dollars, having more money than them, or so they think. And you're just going to build all this stuff right there in the middle of them, and you're not even one of them. I don't want to be in no situation like that. You see what I'm saying? So it's so much stuff to consider. You gotta be careful when you're investing in high risk opportunities. I don't give a damn what it is. If it's a country, if it's a company, if it's crypto, you have to adjust to how the situation. And when you're in Africa, this is a high risk situation compared to what you're used to, what you're coming from. If I invest in Apple, that's easy. That's very simple. I could sign up a thing. It's like insured. It could go wrong, but it's nowhere close to investing in African property. So yeah, I'm interested in freehold. That's what I would look at, and I would be cognizant of where you are. You want to be around some other. If you want to be buying land around other either expats or like natives that live abroad and they're coming back. You want to be in a environment where other people have money. And you want to look for freehold, in my opinion.
So out of all the countries in Africa, you would choose Sierra Leone?
See, I have never been to Sierra Leone, so I can't really speak on it. I got to go see this stuff with my own eyes, the way I am. You know what I'm saying? I got to go see it with my own eyes. So when I go and see it, I could report back to you on that. But I do like that you can get freehold, but at the same time, Sierra Leone, it's not a lot really cooking in Sierra Leone compared to a Kenya, a South Africa, a Nigeria, where you have larger economies and more opportunities, more corporations in doing business with them, more projects pending. So it's just like, I can go to Gambia. Like, what am I going to do in Gambia? You know what I'm saying? I'm a businessman. I want more action, more people around, more things going on. What am I doing in some little backwater country with 2 million people? I'm good on that. I don't even need to really go there like that unless something's going on. So, but when we talk about places like Kenya, Nigeria, where you have a Microsoft setting up, you have you have more educated people in Kenya that you can use for business stuff that you might want to do. You know what I mean? You have more people used to doing business. I work with a brother I work with. I shoot weddings and stuff sometimes. And he's a DJ. He set up a DJ consortium. He has an entire Nigerian team on West Africa. We did like a big group, meeting with the whole consortium. It's like 20 of us. He has like a team of like 8 people all in Nigeria doing all different aspects of his business. You want to go to a place where this type of business is happening, so there's something you can do when you get there. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get a job, so you got to look at it in terms of what you can do in the country. So when I look at Sierra Leone, I don't see as much of that there as I do in South Africa or Kenya or Nigeria. So,
Okay. All right. Shout out to Dot Tip. Gambia, he says Gambia is dangerous. Is it dangerous over there, bro? Would you say that?
I've never heard that. Yeah, I've never heard that. Most of these, I'm telling you, see, when you hear people talk to African people, we're from like ghettos where you can't walk down the street without somebody trying to hit you in the head because your shoestrings or whatever. I had a friend that just got shot for no reason. They rode up, said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Nowhere." They circled the block and shot him. Like that type of stuff don't happen in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So their version of dangerous is nothing compared to our version of dangerous. They don't really like kill people in Africa. Like they'll have gangs that'll be beefing. it maybe be like one killing a year, or if someone gets killed, it's a big deal. The killings usually happen around the religious things, or like wars, or stuff like that. But just in normal communities, it's not really dangerous like that. Not most of the time.
For the most part, Gambia's problem is pickpocketing and it's petty theft. It's not really like murder so much. It's mostly pickpocketing and petty theft.
And there's very little guns in these places. You get what I'm saying? There's very little guns in these places. It's not like Colombia where it's guns all over the place, or America where it's guns everywhere. Every thug has a gun. It's not like that there.
Okay, I got a comment here by GMM. He says, here in Southeast Asia, racism and poor xenophobia is a real thing. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, or red. You are a stranger, a foreigner, and a foreign alien. That's very true. That's very true.
Xenophobia is.
I was just like, what the hell is a foreign?
Well, you got to understand, xenophobia is understandable because in Asia, they expect those places to stay a majority of them. Like Japan wants to stay Japanese. China wants to stay Chinese. South Korea wants to stay South Korean. Philippines is going to stay Philippine. So xenophobia is common. But when it comes to like all out racism, it's nothing like you're not having people chasing you, like shouting the N-word or nothing like that. They don't want foreigners moving there in mass and being able to control anything or have any political power or anything like that. So the xenophobia, I totally understand. I don't have a problem with that. If that's how they want to keep their country, fine.
Excellent.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to add this in there. I was dating a chick from Zimbabwe, and one of the things that we don't take into account is the Native women that are over there who do not appreciate the American sisters going over there dating their men. Because that was another thing that my Zimbabwe girlfriend was telling me at the time, where these guys is over there hitting on the American women, and the Native women was, they're the ones that will do something to the food and poison the American sisters to get them away from their men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about that.
They got some weird little social, I don't want to say laws, but this thing even in Thailand with African women and Thai men too. So that's worldwide, man. That is worldwide. Well, guys, once again, that's been a pretty good show. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Ethan, got my information, brother. We gotta do a show. Mufafa, we gotta do a show too soon. We gotta do a show soon.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay. All right, fellas, we out. Great show today. Peace.
Night.
All right. That was a good show. Good show. Let me leave you guys with this. Once again, guys, make sure to download the Passport Bros app, available on App Store and Google Play. All right? Peace.
Yeah, let me know when you want to do a show.
What's your opinion? We have a problem with it and on black women as a reason to go over to take advantage of women who are not financially stable. You go over here to find somebody who's going to treat you like a king.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.